If you guys don't set boundaries properly with women, then you are most likely gonna get into a relationship where you become miserable. I just got back from the gym right now. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about setting boundaries. We talked about it yesterday on our Eras group call, but look at that view right there. It's fucking beautiful, right? Just got a nasty pump in. Just a great morning. Woke up at 5:33 in the morning and saw the sunrise. It was absolutely incredible. But we're gonna be talking about boundaries. And so I'm gonna tell you guys a story really quick about how I just turned down a large sum of money because of my boundaries. And then also I'm gonna tell you a little bit of a story about how to properly set boundaries in a relationship so that you don't become miserable in the relationship. Because a lot of you guys just want a relationship. But what happens when you get to the relationship and then you find out that she's cheating on you? Or you find out that she's just a chronic partier and she goes out and she gets drunk and she's flirting with dudes. Or what if you get to the relationship and you get what you always tell yourself you wanted, but then you find out she's really addicted to drugs? That happened to me before. I was actually dating this varsity cheerleader for an NFL team. That NFL team right there. And there's a building right in front of it. It's about like a little bit brown with a little gray side to it. I actually caught her cheating 13 months into our relationship in that building right there, in that hotel, with my best friend. I caught her fucking my best friend. And it's because I didn't properly set boundaries. She told me at the very start of the relationship, she goes, "I've cheated on every single man that I've ever dated." And I was like, oh, varsity cheerleader for an NFL team, big tits, nice ass, guys really want her. I was like, this is the hottest chick I've ever seen. I'll be different. I wasn't different, newsflash, and it fucked me up. Recently, I turned down a large sum of money, probably more than you guys would even think, to help a guy build a course with stuff that I didn't really agree on. His morals and his ethics, I did not really agree. I'll tell you the amount. It was a little bit over $29,000 to help this guy build out a course to basically take advantage of the male mind and basically just have guys jacking off to pixels on a screen, basically, is what this course was going to entail. And so when he offered me that amount of money, you guys probably know who he is. I'm not gonna say who it is, like that's private information, like, you know, don't wanna expose anybody. But he offered me that amount of money. And I was like, let me think on it. Because, you know, $29,000, that could buy me another Rolex. That could put me a nice down payment on my Lamborghini Gallardo that I want. Nice orange Lamborghini Gallardo that I want. That could put down a nice down payment on that car. That could buy me half of an iced out Patek Philippe watch. So that could get me a lot of things, right? $29,000 just wired to my bank account could do that for me. And I was like, you know what, let me think on it. And when I asked him, I was like, well, what are you gonna be doing with the course, right? What's gonna be like the main point of the course? A little dark in here, man. Let me turn on the lights for you guys so you guys can see my beautiful blue eyes. There you go. It's an autograph from the weekend right there. Nice A. That's his autograph. It's kind of dope, right? Actually, it's pretty cool. But I was like, what's the course gonna basically entail? And he's like, basically what he said was, he was like, it's gonna basically take advantage of the male mind. Basically make guys please themselves to pixels on a screen. And I went back to my place here and I looked over this beautiful balcony at sunset and I thought about it just like this. I was like, am I going to sacrifice my morals and my ethics for a paycheck? And I was like, I'm just not going to do that. And the reason is because, yes, it would give me it would give you $29K in the bank account, right? We'd go have some fun, buy some cool things, maybe invest it back in my business. But I know long term it's gonna bite me in the ass somehow, some way, for sacrificing my morals and my ethics as a man. And so part of boundaries is learning to say no to things that you just don't want. And so I literally I stopped talking to the dude. He tries to hit me up. I just don't respond to him. I don't want to be around that dude. I was like, if someone is going to sacrifice their morals and ethics for a fucking paycheck, that's not a person that I want in my life. That is not a high status person. Just because a person makes a lot of money doesn't mean they are high status. It doesn't mean that. And so I was like, is $29,000, is that worth my future? Is that worth my morals and my ethics as a man? Is it only worth $29,000? When you put it like that, $29,000 is not a lot of money for that at all. It's basically like $29,000 for your soul. Is that a lot of money for a soul? Maybe if we talk like $1 billion, maybe, right? But $29,000 is fucking pennies. And I was like, I'm not gonna sacrifice my morals and my ethics for that amount of money. I'm just not going to. And so I stopped hanging out with the dude, stopped hitting him up. I was like, dude, I just basically have just deleted him from my life. Because I was like, if someone is going to sacrifice their morals and ethics for a paycheck, I don't want to be around that guy. I just don't want to. And you guys should be the exact same fucking way. It doesn't matter how hot the chick is. It doesn't matter how high status you think that guy is. He is not status, and she is not status if she's cheating on every guy she's been with, or she or he are sacrificing their morals and their ethics for a paycheck, like porn stars. Their morals and ethics are being sacrificed for a paycheck. And I think a lot of porn stars realize that at the end of the day, and they realize how badly they fucked up, and they could have done it a different route. They're taking advantage of male and female biology and their urges to get a paycheck. That is against my moral code as a man. Now, for the grand finale of this video, one of my very best techniques to make a girl really commit to you and have those boundaries for you. So I'll tell you one more story. There was a girl back in college. I was notorious for some reason for attracting women whose best friend, they claimed, was their ex-boyfriend. And I hated it. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was like, I don't like that, right? I was like, I don't want to be around, I don't want to date a woman and her best friend is her ex-boyfriend. Because I know how it goes. I've seen the story multiple times. I know what oops means. I know what happens when you might argue with your girl, right? And then she goes and runs to her ex, who's her best friend, and oops, he just suddenly ended up inside of her. Like, he just oops? Oopsies. Yeah, he just slipped on this rug right here, and just suddenly his dick just accidentally just unzipped her pants and just like slid right in there. Just there's just such a coincidence, right? It's just the craziest accident. Like, fuck you. No, it's not an accident, dude. Like, that's how it goes. And I was like, I just don't want to date a girl like that who's best friends with their exes. And so I was talking to a really, really great girl who I thought, looking back, she wasn't that great. But, you know, I was like, I do want a relationship with her. But she claimed, like, about 2 or 3 weeks into dating her, she was like, yeah, my best friend's my ex-boyfriend. And I was like, okay. Usually most guys make a mistake and they try to draw a boundary right there. This is the strategy that I teach to all the guys in my program. Is that what you want to do is, instead of drawing a boundary right there, you want to wait. You want to be like, okay. Because she's like, well, you got to be okay with that, right? If we're going to date. So she's thinking about a relationship with you. But if she's thinking about a relationship with you, you need to slow it down just a little bit. You're like, dude, we've been dating for 2 or 3 weeks. Let's just slow it down a little bit. You're like, we'll worry about that when we get there. I'm just having fun with you right now. And so I strategically waited. There's a train coming, so it's gonna get a little loud for a second. So I'm gonna come back inside. But I strategically waited. And I was like, I'm gonna wait until she's in love with me. And so around the 6 to 7 week mark, now she's feeling a little bit differently. She has feelings for me now. And so now you actually have what is a powerful word called leverage. You now have leverage in your relationship because she wants a relationship with you now. Before, she was like, well, you just have to be okay with me being friends with my ex. And I was like, we're just dating right now. Like, don't worry about that shit. We'll worry about it when we get there. Now she's in love with you though. Now the tables have turned and now she has feelings for you. And so she starts to talk about a relationship, and now I bring up, well, I'm not going to be in a relationship with you if your ex is in the picture. And she's like, well, we need to talk about that. And so we talk about that, and now I have that L word, I have leverage. And so we go talk about that, but also a very key point that makes leverage work is that you want to be able to walk away and mean it. If I had this talk with her, which I did in her bedroom, we sat down on her bed and she's like, well, my ex is my best friend, and I really wish now, she said, instead of being like, you're gonna accept this, she's like, I really wish you would be okay with it. And what I told her was, listen, I like you. I do care about you. I have feelings for you, but I know myself. And if we get into a relationship with your ex in the picture, the relationship, it's just not gonna last. And so I'm asking you right now to give up your past to have a future with me. And if you can't do that, like, I get it. But if you can't do that, then maybe I'm not as important to you as you say that I am. And I need to find a girl who would do that for me. Because that's what I need in a relationship as a man, to be happy. And if you can't do that, then this relationship just will not work and it'll be miserable. And I don't want to put us through that. And so if you don't want to do that, totally your decision, but it's never going to move past what we're currently doing, which is just talking and dating around. So you need to make a decision right now what you want. And she was like, she thought about it for like 2 seconds. And she was like, all right, I'll give him up. You're right. I should give up my past to have a future with you. So let's do it. And so she did. And that's how you draw a boundary, a firm boundary in the relationship right there, is that you need to wait until she's in love with you and has feelings for you. And that's not manipulation. That is simply negotiating for yourself as a man. Because as a high status man, you need to go with what your gut and your heart tells you. And if you go against that, you are bound for failure. And so if you guys need help, by the way, and if you guys want to learn how to do that better and actually get her to the point where she wants a relationship with you and she becomes like crazy about you, obsessed with you, then message me on Instagram. We'll talk, go back and forth, see if you're a perfect fit for our program. Because we've realized a lot of guys need help out there, even myself included. And it's gonna really, really excel your dating life and excel your relationship if you are put into a community with like-minded individuals who are also crushing it and they understand our concepts with natural attraction and they're doing amazing. And so if that's you, you have a great career, a great job, you just, for some reason, girls keep losing interest in you, then there's a call link in the description below. Book in a call with me or my team. You'll talk to us, go back and forth, and we'll see if we're a perfect fit to work together in my program. Or you can just message me on Instagram. Message me like that you're from YouTube though, because we get a lot of messages right now. So on that note, I'm Selna Kim, America's face of dating. That's how you actually draw a boundary that's gonna cement. And I'll see your handsome face next time.